This is In the Loop. I'm Christian Bryant. If y'all are 90s kids and fell asleep watching TV, odds are you woke up to an infomercial and heard something like,
Get it for $119.95 or 4 easy payments of $29.95.
We'll bill your credit card 3 easy payments of $19.95 each.
Hold it, Ron. It's now only 4 easy payments of only $29.99.
There's a long history of paying for things in installments, like those old commercials advertise rent-to-own products or putting things on layaway, where you pick out the item, pay for it in installments, and get it later once it's been fully purchased. I did that with a pair of roller skates at Kmart back in 1990 whatever. But recently, we've seen more options popping up that give consumers the items right away and takes away the threat of repossession. Companies like Afterpay, Klarna, and Affirm have become a more frequent resource for people looking to buy things but stretch out the payments. And they've increasingly been popping up as payment options on the websites of major retailers, including Target, Bed Bath & Beyond, and Amazon. It's a huge business. A report from the California Department of Financial Protection and Innovation found that 91% of consumer loans taken out in the state in 2020 were from buy now, pay later lenders. But unlike leasing a car or taking out a new credit card, there isn't much regulation of this space because of how new it is. And you get both the instant gratification of getting your purchase right away, and it doesn't necessarily affect your credit score.
A significant portion of people take out multiple buy now, pay later purchases. And so there's no consideration of the ability to repay. And there's no specific date on which a person can count on their buy now, pay later coming out of their account, like a credit card. So people tend to take on multiple purchases and get overwhelmed.
That's Nadine Chabrier from the consumer advocacy group, the Center for Responsible Lending. She's concerned that the short-term nature of these loans has helped buy now, pay later providers avoid existing rules.
Some of the things that we've advocated for is to regulate a buy now, pay later like a credit card. So there are really important protections there for consumers that you have under credit cards that you don't have when you take out a buy now, pay later.
And these types of services often have a younger, more diverse user base. A Morning Consult poll conducted earlier this year found that Gen Zers, as well as Black and Hispanic Americans, were more likely to use a buy now, pay later service than the average American. Elise Hicks from the consumer advocacy group Americans for Financial Reform told us that lines up with other trends in economic inequality.
On a basic level, BIPOC communities have less wealth. So they're more inclined to use products like buy now, pay later, or Klarna, Affirm, in order to get the things that they need or want, because it puts those bite-sized pieces or bite-sized installments, something that they feel like they can handle, in front of them.
That same poll we mentioned earlier found that 1 in 5 borrowers using buy now, pay later missed a payment in January, the month they took the survey. It can spiral into some big fees for consumers. In August, after President Biden announced his intent to forgive $10,000 or more for Americans with student loan debt, one Twitter user's question about whether President Biden would forgive Afterpay debts too went viral. So how much debt inspired that tweet?
I would say it was probably $4,000. Which to me, that seems like a lot of money. That's like 2 months of rent.
For now, consumers like Grace and the millions of others who use these services are at the mercy of the companies. Affirm, for example, does pitch consumers on the fact that it has no late fees, but it does note that it would charge up to 36% APR depending on your credit, which is higher than even the highest APR on most credit cards. But in the moment, the seemingly great deals can be really tempting.
It started with a lot of strategy. I was like, if I just do this, I will be glam and perfect, and I will definitely get, my promotion if I look like this and buy this hair product. It's a slippery slope, and my dopamine receptors are just boom, firing away when I use it.
The advocates we talked to said that dopamine hit, that rush of satisfaction, is exactly what makes it so tempting to use these services when you shop.
It just feeds on millennials and Gen Zers of how we like to get things very instantly. And it feeds that dopamine in your brain, because we all know we want something. If we can get it at a discounted price and get it to our doorsteps very quickly, it feeds that dopamine and we're on to something else. So it puts you in a cycle and kind of like a debt trap as well.
Beyond the rush it can give you, buy now, pay later it looks fun, right? Influencers on social media are pitching buy now, pay later as a life hack. Want a bunch of cool stuff and don't want to worry about the cost of it today? Then they say use these interest-free programs to pay it in installments.
So you have people who you admire, who look like they have great lives, who then have this clothing item or this product, and it's just aspirational. It's understandable for people to aspire to a particular lifestyle or a feeling, you know what I mean? And that's what I think this type of marketing plays on.
It's not lost on consumers either.
So partnering with influencers is really nefarious, and it's subtle, and they got me there.
But regulation and standards could be on the way soon. Many buy now, pay later loans aren't reported, meaning that while there's no guarantee your credit score takes a hit if you miss payments, you also might not be building credit that can help you get other loans or credit cards in the future. Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion, the three largest credit bureaus, announced plans this year to incorporate buy now, pay later loans into their files, but implementation of that is still TBD. Meanwhile, state and federal regulatory authorities are looking at how to account for buy now, pay later services. A group of 21 state attorneys general wrote a letter calling for federal officials to set standards on this. And the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau announced during last year's holiday season that they had started a review of the buy now, pay later industry with an eye toward federal regulations protecting consumers from debt and ensuring companies tell consumers what fees they could be on the hook for. Advocates are hoping rules will lift the burden from consumers and make the companies themselves have to give you more info up front. But until then, they say to make sure you read the fine print.
Please look at all of your products or your apps, see how much you currently owe these buy now, pay later companies, and just be aware of your spending habits. It is so easy to get out of control with this, but just be aware until regulation comes.